Hello, my name is Lesley Whitaker. I'm a writer and a techie, and I live here in Berlin. It is a beautiful and cold December evening here in Neukölln. We are at Oyoun, and we're here for the launch of Escapism. Escapism is an exhibition. It'll be running from today, December 3rd, through the 23rd. And today I'm going to take you around to the 4 artists who have created interactive exhibitions today, and we're going to chat with them briefly and take a look around. So, without further ado, let's go head into the first project. Yeah, it says here, please wear the glasses before going in. Okay. Okay, so I'm the creator of this exhibition, Avita. So, I have to say, like, with everything hard to distinguish and the sounds was kind of yeah, it's sort of noises and the Okay. So I just came out of embryonic babies of hot winters and talking with the creator here, Avita. So I was wearing these glasses that blurred my vision when I was inside of the exhibition, which made it hard to see where I was, distinguish color, and I had to really listen to the sounds and the narration that I heard in the room. So I just wanted to ask about what the glasses and the different soundscapes and yeah, how you conceived the sounds in that room.
Well, I think the colors and the sound and also the wearables, they're all somehow connected together, but also they have different elements for their own experiences. The sound is mainly field recordings and the narration of, like, let's say, an anthology of my experience of existence. And I use these blurred visions because to create an intimate experience between the sound and the light, because if you enter a room and if you can see anything, you can process all the information in the room. And I think if you blur that vision and restrict your vision to a certain extent, then you're only exposed to the sound and the light. And when you come close to the centers, the volume gets louder. So I feel that I want to create an intimate experience. So in that moment, it's just you and me once you come close, and you are only between the soundscape and exposed to the light. And so we can just be together in this moment. And I think all these different elements come close together to create this shared narrative and this shared experience between me and you. So I speak to you and you speak to me in some way or another.
Yeah, I think that's really a beautiful way of putting it. Um, Going into this without any sort of uh, introduction or like preconceived notion, I think is really great because this is going to be a different experience than the online game. And I think the links for the online game are going to be appearing and available to everyone in the chat right now. So can you talk about the difference between the exhibition here and the online experience?
Well, they're both based on the same principle or the same story, but they're both different projects. This is a physical experience, and I think for a physical installation, I want it to be like I want to create more of a tactile, intimate experience. That's why it's a physical installation, and for the online version, it's a experimental game. It's also like a sound game with field recordings and the narration, but there you also explore a different environment, a more gamified environment, which is more suitable to play, let's say, at your home. But since you're here, I would rather like you to be in it, surrounded by it. That's why I created two different projects.
Game. So we'll maybe see you after the tour. All right. So the next game that we're going to take a look at is Guacoco. Guacoco, excuse me, created by Soul. So Guacoco is a short dream of returning to your home and making space for better things. So I'm going to take a leap here into this dreamscape, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay. Okay, I'm going to enter into the rest of the exhibition. I hope you can hear the waves that are around me right now. I know we're in Northern Europe, but it feels nice to be in a beach environment. The game is really meditative and a soft. I hope you all get a chance to play it. So, it's asking me to confront my nightmares and shell into the water right now. All right. So, I'm here with the creator of this game, Sol. Nice to have you here.
Nice to have you play my game.
Yeah. This was so, immersive and beautiful. So can you tell me a little bit about the space you created for the exhibition?
Okay, so since the game is fairly linear and there's not much participation going on, I wanted to mirror the digital experience into the physical world. So that's why we came out with the beach environment and to have sand to make it a little bit more immersive and textural to it. So yeah, I just wanted to have a participatory element in the physical space.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and the game itself is quite dreamy. You're going through and looking at memories and different parts of identity and race and gender, and there's this moment of catharsis at the end. And so, even though it's kind of a introspective game, there is this story element to it. So can you tell me a bit about how you came up with the narrative of this?
Okay, basically a lot of my nightmares are about being stuck, having like feeling of trying to go out and not enjoying my time there. So I just tried I was having nightmares and how I could process those memories and then letting them go. So I actually started about my home country and memories about it. So that's what inspired those about myself, I guess.
That's really beautiful. And I know that Berlin is home to lots of people from different backgrounds coming from all sorts of places. And I think that if you come from a marginalized community or if you deal with gender dysphoria or in any way feel the oppression of the world, this game will have something that resonates with you. So I think we're going to head on to our third project now. I just need a moment to put my shoes back on. All right, and a quick aside, everyone watching the live stream right now, you can also play Guacoco for yourself. The link will be in the chat. Okay, let's move on to Terraria. Okay, so here we are at the third exhibition. And Terraria is a game which deals with colorism and texturism. And as you can see, it's a a linear narrative-based game, and we're just going to take a quick peek inside. Of the okay. Part. Yes.
So maybe you don't have to speak when you are inside, and you can do all the talking outside.
Okay. Okay.
That's really funny.
Okay. I'm just going to do there's an interactive zine. Should I wanted to interact with the zine, so I'm going to go and add that to the collection. right. So in there, there's an opportunity for people who have played the games to also share their experience as they interact with colorism and texturism in their lives, and put it into the box. And we're going to creator now of what all of this means and putting it all together. Hello. So I'm here now with the creator of Terraria. This is Taya. Nice to have you here.
Yes, thank you. Lovely to see you.
Okay. So I just came out of playing Colorism, which is half of the game. And everyone watching this now will be able to play the online versions, and the links are appearing in the chat, so you can click and play to your heart's content. This was such a sort of arresting experience, especially for, I think, anyone who has had to go through the process of having to straighten curly hair. So yeah, can you tell me about the process of gamifying how people go about hair care?
Yes, of course. Of course, with things like gamification, it's really important that the methods that you use don't really trivialize the situation. And so, hence, like you describe, a very arresting experience. The choices are almost in a way predestined. And I believe that putting the two together, it kind of facilitates an action that is already kind of pre-described. Hair care, which is also a very like set routine, step-oriented thing in that way, which is already selected for you. I tried to put the two together in this way.
So in the game, there's in the exhibition, excuse me, there's an opportunity for participants to write down something meaningful to them relating to the theme of colorism and texturism. Can you tell me a bit more about the interactive part of this exhibition?
Yes, of course. Because the exhibition itself and the game itself is not necessarily a very enlightening or happy one, I wanted to provide an opportunity for reconciliation between the viewers and the experience, and between myself and the audience. And so in this space, I ask people who have been affected by colorism and texturism to release that pain and these feelings in the form of a sketch. And in this way, I'll be compiling it into a publication for these people who do participate. And it will be a single release for those who participate, and I'm excited to see what happens with it.
Okay. Thank you so much for all that information. I hope everyone has a chance to come down and experience Terraria for themselves. And with that, I think we're going to take a short break before we see the fourth and final exhibition in the launch today. All right. Hi, welcome back. So here we are at the fourth exhibition. This is Thicker Than Blood. It's a game which will investigate how complicit we are in state violence. So these are going to be some pretty heavy themes, but I'm really excited to dive in. So let's go inside. Hi, so I'm here to do the live stream. I'm taking off my shoes. I do not have a light, sorry. Hey, is it okay if I ask questions? Sure. Okay, do you mind introducing yourself to viewers who are watching online?
My name is Izdihar Afyouni.
Cannot hear it.
Turn off the sound here?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you say something?
Oh, for the interview now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh no. It looks like there's a wire hanging that might be keeping it. All right, so we're gonna try that again. This is the creator of the game Thicker Than Blood. Would you like to introduce yourself to the online audience?
Yeah, hi. My name is Izdihar Afyouni. I'm a Palestinian Jordanian painter, conceptual artist, renegade academic, an activist.
Yeah, one of the things that really struck me was the sound and how it really shook the entire room that we were in. Can you tell me about how you came up with the soundscape and like how you envisioned the sound experience?
So the sound design was actually done by Raymond Jennings, who's a sound artist. He's based in Lancaster. He's a DJ. And he was my collaborator on the
You mentioned that this is a different experience than the online game. Do you want to tell people the differences between them and why they should come see it in person?
So the game is the same digitally. So the game that you play online is the same game that you would be playing here. The differences would be is that this is an immersive space that uses eroticism as a portal to look at the abuse of language by state mechanisms and to look at sort of the erotics of violence. So I think that comes through a little bit more when you're in the immersive space. Yeah. And the space itself kind of mirrors the creature in the game. So it's as if you're entering the world of the creature, or you're entering the creature itself when you're entering the space. Yeah.
As someone who has played the game, I very much agree with that statement. This is a very sensory experience. Another thing I wanted to ask you was that this game uses a very sort of simple right, wrong, binary logic, but it introduces so much nuance. And that's not something that you would expect from, I don't know, something that's just a click your way through. So can you tell me a little bit about how you brought perspective and this richness and this nuance into quite a straightforward narrative?
I mean, is it a straightforward narrative?
I mean in terms of the way the player only has an option to click and verify.
How did I introduce the nuance? I actually think that the game
Can you raise
maybe
the mic?
yeah, I'm thinking how does the game I don't know if I would call the game particularly nuanced. Actually, I don't think that the narrative that the game wants you to buy into is particularly nuanced. I think that it's highly well, I mean, I think it's once you buy into that narrative, and it kind of sets the tone for the way that you view other people, particularly racialized people. So I wouldn't say that it's a particularly nuanced narrative. Yeah.
I noticed it said that the room was recorded or being recorded. What happens to that recording?
So the room, basically, if I press play, then you're actually being recorded, but you're being watched. So if I press record, then you're being recorded, but you're being watched at all times. Yes, can be watched at all times. So it kind of mirrors the surveillance state. That's the idea. It puts you in a position where you know you're being watched when you're answering those questions, or you could be being watched. So it's kind of like a panopticon. So there's the idea that you could be being watched, or be being watched, but there's a camera that's pointed at you. And the recording, we can save the recording, or we cannot save the recording, but there is a recording, or there is not a recording.
I see. No, it really does. No, I think it's great. I don't want to give too much away, but I think the viewers will definitely like the mystery and everything that is in store for them when they play this game for themselves or when they come see the exhibition in person. Lastly, notice the QR code in there. I didn't get a chance to scan it, so I didn't see what that led to. Can you give me a hint?
So there are 2 QR codes. One of them takes you to a recording of me talking about the game and how it's the sort of 3rd iteration of an ongoing project. It's the digital iteration of an ongoing participatory performance project, 2 of which happened physically in London, and this one was developed during the pandemic, basically. So it will take you to a recording of me talking about the game and talking about it conceptually a little bit and maybe explaining a little bit of what happens, so that you can kind of debrief with me after you play it. And then the other takes you to the website for the game so that you can play anywhere, basically.
We'll see if this is the last question. Is there a way to win your game?
Yes.
All right, those were all the questions I had. So I think we're going to head back up to the foyer and talk with some other people who have had a chance to go through the exhibition.
Hello, welcome back to the live stream of the Escapism launch. So, we have now taken a look into all 4 of the exhibitions here today. And now we're going to speak to one of the mentors of the Escapism project, Rachel. And we're going to learn a bit more about the production and the whole process behind escapism. So, yes. Hi, do you mind introducing yourself to the online viewers?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Rachel Uwa, and I run School of Machines Making and Make Believe, and I had the privilege of serving as a mentor for this project, Escapism, with Oyoun, which is a community I love, and yeah, that's, I guess, where I would start.
Can you tell us a bit about your role and how you worked with the artists on their projects?
Yeah, so I kind of came in at the second phase of the project. It had already kind of been going on for a little while, and basically my role was to serve as a bit of artistic and technical director and mentor for everyone. So from my perspective, I wanted to make sure that everybody had a story that represented who they are and what they care about, and that they knew which technology to focus on to tell that story and make it real. So that was my main role, I think.
How was it working with artists on their first video game?
Well, the thing is that, I mean, everybody had just a beautiful story, and so it was very exciting to see them see their project come to life. And I think mainly for me, I wanted just to make sure that they had a focus, because I think when you start to create something with anything, whether technology or just creatively, you have a tendency to want to do everything. And so it's like how to narrow down and start to get a focus on a few ideas and execute them really well, so that people, when they enter the space, can understand what your narrative was, what your point of view was, and yeah, I think everybody did just an amazing project. I mean, amazing outcome based on that. So I'm very proud of everybody. It's amazing.
Yeah, following up on that, this is the first day that the projects are live. Have you had a chance to go in and see the finished product?
Yes, they're amazing. I'm like so impressed. It's like beyond, I mean, even some things I was like, yeah, I'm not sure if that will really work. And then they've just proven me wrong. It's like amazing. So I just blown away. And I'm really looking forward to talking to them afterwards and seeing like how they feel having now created this thing, and seeing also where they want to go with, forward. Because I think it's kind of like a drug in a way. When you create something that you're really excited about, you're like, okay, when's the next one coming? So looking forward to having that conversation with them as well, I think.
Yeah. I think we're going to try and find some other voices. Thank you so much, Rachel.
I would actually love for you to talk with Zeo. He's also a fellow here at Oyoun, and he's a wonderful human, also an artist. And I think he also had the experience of the projects, and he would be great to speak with. So,
okay.
Zeo?
Yeah, come join us. Thank you, Rachel. Hi, do you mind introducing yourself to the online audience?
Yeah, okay. My name is Theo, and I'm a Sudanese artist, musician, and filmmaker. And I do a fellowship in junior. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to go through the exhibitions today?
Yeah, so I saw two, and it was something so touching, and the ways they transformed the rooms and make you feel the things like the identity, yeah, it just feel things, yeah.
I agree. There were some where the rooms were so completely transformed,
Yeah.
and that really, really brought you in, and they were so immersive. Can you tell me a bit about the work you do at Oyoun and as a fellow here?
Okay, so I came as an art residency, and I made my first musical album in Oyoun, and yeah, and I done some stuff and took concerts. Yeah, so still doing.
That's great to hear. So maybe at the next launch, we'll get to hear some of your music.
Maybe.
Thank you so much for sharing your findings of the launch. Okay. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed today and the tour of the Escapism launch. Again, we saw 4 incredibly creative artists and their immersive virtual physical art installations. You can click on the links in the chat and experience the digital games for yourself. And again, this exhibition will be open all the way through December 23rd here at Oyoun in Neukölln. So with that, have a great rest of your evening, and I hope to see you here at this exhibition soon. Thank you.